Catcher in the Rye, a novel by J.D. Salinger, Chapter 14. After old Sonny was gone, I sat in the chair for a while and smoked a couple of cigarettes. It was getting daylight outside. Boy, I felt miserable. I felt so depressed you can't imagine. What I did, I started talking sort of out loud. To Allie. I do that sometimes when I get very depressed. I keep telling him to go home and get his bike and meet me in front of Bobby Fallon's house. Bobby Fallon used to live quite near us in Maine. This is years ago. Anyway, what happened was one day Bobby and I were going over to Lake Sedibigo on our bikes. We were going to take our lunches and all, and our BB guns. We were kids and all, and we thought we could shoot something with our BB guns. Anyway, Ali heard us talking about it, and he wanted to go, and I wouldn't let him. I told him he was a child, so once in a while now, when I get very depressed, I keep saying to him, "Okay, go home and get your bike, and meet me in front of Bobby's house. Hurry up." It wasn't that I didn't used to take him with me when I went somewhere. I did, but that one day I didn't. He didn't get sore about it. He never got sore about anything, but I keep thinking about it anyway. When I get very depressed. Finally, though, I got undressed and got into bed. I felt like praying or something when I was in bed, but I couldn't do it. I can't always pray when I feel like it. In the first place, I'm sort of an atheist. I like Jesus and all, but I don't care too much for most of the other stuff in the Bible. Take the disciples, for instance. They annoy the hell out of me. If you want to know the truth, they were all right after Jesus was dead and all, but while he was alive, they were about as much use to him as a hoe in the head. All they did was keep letting him down. I like almost anybody in the Bible better than the disciples. If you want to know the truth, the guy I like best in the Bible next to Jesus was a lunatic and all that lived in the tombs and kept cutting himself with stones. I like him 10 times as much as the disciples. That poor bastard. I used to get in quite a few arguments about it when I was at the Wooten School with his boy that lived down the corridor, Arthur Childs. Old Childs was a Quaker and all, and he read the Bible all the time. He was a very nice kid and I liked him, but I could never see eye to eye with him on a lot of stuff in the Bible, especially the disciples. He kept telling me if I didn't like the disciples, then I didn't like Jesus at all. He said that because Jesus picked the disciples, you were supposed to like him. I said I knew he picked them, but that he picked them at a random. I said he didn't have time to go around analyzing everybody. I said I wasn't blaming Jesus or anything. It wasn't his fault that he didn't have time. I remember I asked old Charles if he thought Judas, the one that betrayed Jesus and all, went to hell after he committed suicide. Child said certainly. That's exactly where I disagreed with him. I said I'd bet $1,000 that Jesus never sent old Judas to hell. I still would too, if I had $1,000. I think any one of the disciples would have sent him to hell and all, and fast, too. But I'll bet anything Jesus didn't do it. Old Charles said that trouble with me was that I didn't go to church or anything. He was right about that in a way. I don't. In the first place, my parents are different religions, and all the children in our family are atheists. If you want to know the truth, I can't even stand ministers. The ones they've had at every school I've gone to, they all have these Holy Joe voices when they start giving the sermons. God, I hate that. I don't see why the hell they can't talk in their natural voice. They sound so phony when they talk. Anyway, when I was in bed, I couldn't pray worth a damn. Every time I got started, I kept picturing an old Sonny calling me a crumb bum. Finally, I sat up in the bed and smoked another cigarette. It tasted lousy. I must have smoked around 2 packs since I left Pensy. All of a sudden, while I was laying there smoking, somebody knocked on the door. I kept hoping it wasn't my door they were knocking on, but I knew damn well it was. I don't know how I knew, but I knew. I knew who it was too. I'm psychic. Who's there? I said. I was pretty scared. I'm pretty yellow about these things. They just knocked again, though, louder. Finally, I got out of bed with just my pajamas on and opened the door. I didn't even have to turn the light on in the room because it was already daylight. Old Sonny and Maurice, the pimpy elevator guy, was standing there. "What's the matter? What do you want?" I said. Boy, my voice was shaking like hell. "Nothing much," old Maurice said. "Just $5." He did all the talking for the two of them. Old Sonny just stood there next to him with her mouth open and all. "I paid already. I gave her $5. Ask her," I said. Boy, was my voice shaking. "It's $10, Chief. I told you that. $10 for a throw. $15 till noon. I told you that. You did not tell me that. You said $5 for a throw. You said $15 till noon. All right, but I distinctly heard you. Open up, Chief." "What for?" I said. God, my whole heart damn near beating me out of the room. I wish I was dressed at least. It's terrible to be in your pajamas when something like that happens. Let's go, Chief, old Maurice said. Then he gave me a big shove with his crummy hand. I damn near fell over on my can. He was a huge son of a bitch. The next thing I knew, he and Old Sonny were both in my room. They acted like they owned the damn place. Old Sonny sat down on the windowsill. Old Maurice sat down in the big chair and loosened his collar and all, he wearing this elevator operator's uniform. Boy, was I nervous. All right, Chief, let's have it. I gotta get back to work. I told you about 10 times. I don't owe you a cent. I already gave her the 5. Cut the crap now. Let's have it. Why should I give another $5? I said. My voice was crackling all over the place. You're trying to chisel me. Old Maurice unbuttoned his whole uniform coat. All he had underneath was a phony shirt collar, but no shirt or anything. He said he had a big fat hairy stomach. Nobody's trying to chisel anybody, he said. Let's have it, Chief. No. When I said that, he got up from his chair and started walking towards me and all. He looked like he was very, very tired or very, very bored. God, I was scared. I sort of had my arms folded, I remember. I wouldn't have been so bad, I don't think, if I hadn't just got my goddamn pajamas on. Let's have it, Chief. He came right up where I was standing. That's all he could say. Let's have it, Chief. He was a real moron. No. Chief, you're gonna force me up in a roughen up a little. I don't know what you're doing. Huh? I don't want to do. So you owe us $5. I still owe you $5. I said, if you rough me up, I'll yell like hell. I'll wake up everybody in the hotel, the police and all. My voice was shaking like a bastard. Go ahead, tell your goddamn head off. Fine, old Maurice said. Want your parents to know you spent the night with a whole high-class kid like you. He was pretty sharp in a crummy way, he really was. Leave me alone. If you said 10, it'd be different, but you distinctly... Are you gonna let us have it? He had me right up against the damn door. He was already standing on top of me, his old crummy, old hairy stomach and all. Leave me alone. Get the hell out of my room, I said. I still had my arms folded and all. God, what a jerk. Then Sonny said something for the first time. Hey, Maurice, want me to get his wallet? She said. It's right on the whatchamacallit. Yeah, I get it. Leave my wallet alone. I already got it, Sonny said. She wanted to fave $5 at me. See, all I'm taking is 5 you owe me. I'm no crook. All of a sudden I started to cry. I'd give anything if I hadn't, but I did. No, you're no crooks, I said. You're just staying 5. Shut up, old Maurice said, and gave me a shove. Leave him alone. Hey, Sonny said, come on, hey. We've got enough dough he owes us. Let's go. Come on, hey. I'm coming, old Maurice said, but he didn't. I mean it, Maurice. Hey, leave him alone. Who's hurting anybody? He said, innocent as hell. Then what he did, he snapped his finger very hard on my pajamas. I won't tell you where he snapped, but it hurt like hell. I told him he was a goddamn dirty moron. What's that? He said. He put his hand behind his ear like a deaf guy. What's that? What am I? I was still sort of crying. I was so damn mad and nervous and all. You're a dirty moron, I said. You're a stupid chiseling moron. In that about 2 years you'll be one of those scraggy guys that come up to you on the street and ask for a dime for coffee. You'll have snot all of your dirty, filthy overcoat, and you'll be... Then he smacked me. I didn't even try to get out of the way or duck or anything. All I felt was this terrific punch in my stomach. I wasn't knocked out or anything, though, because I remember looking up in the floor and seeing them both go out on the door and shut it. And then I stayed on the floor a fairly long time, sort of the way I did with Stradlater. Only this time I thought I was dying. I really did. I thought I was drowning or something. The trouble was I couldn't hardly breathe. When I did, I finally got up. I had to walk to the bathroom all doubled up, holding onto my stomach and all, but I'm crazy, I swear to God I am. About halfway to the bathroom, I sort of started pretending I had a bullet in my guts. Old Maurice had plugged me. Now I was on the way to the bathroom to get a good shot of bourbon or something to steady my nerves and help me go really into action. I pictured myself coming out of the goddamn bathroom, dressed and all, with my automatic in my pocket and staggering around a little bit. Then I'd walk downstairs. Instead of using the elevator, I'd hold on to the banister and all, with the blood trickling out of the side of my mouth a little at a time. What I'd do, I'd walk down a few floors, holding into my guts, blood leaking all over the place, and then I'd ring the elevator bell. As soon as old Maurice opened the door, he'd see me with the automatic in my hand, and he'd start screaming at me in this very high-pitched yellow-belly voice to leave me him alone. But I'd plug him anyway, 6 shots right through his fat, hairy belly. Then I'd throw my automatic down the elevator shaft after I wiped off all the fingerprints and all. Then I'd crawl back into my room and call up Jane and have her come over and bandage up my guts. I picture holding a cigarette for me to smoke while I was bleeding and all. The goddamn movies, they can ruin you. I'm not kidding. I stayed in the bathroom for about an hour, taking a bath and all. Then I got back in bed. It took me quite a while to get to sleep. I wasn't even tired, but finally did. What I really felt like, though, was committing suicide. I felt like jumping out the window. I probably would have done it too if I'd been sure somebody'd cover me up as soon as I landed. I didn't want a bunch of stupid rubbernecks looking at me when I was all glory.